So family and friendship is a very important part of getting older, because you really start thinking about the people that you have around you, and this is the time where, you know, your family, especially like your parents, grandparents, are getting older or they're passing away. And so it's just a time in life where you really start thinking about those things. And for me, I think about my family and friends all the time, but like, I'm not the best at reaching out to family, especially as much as I should. So that's definitely something I found that I need to work on. And I'm pretty sure some of you are watching this video are probably like the same thing. There was a point in time, especially when I was younger, where I would, you know, not like that, you know, family wouldn't reach out to me or see how I'm doing type of thing. But as I've gotten older, I've just realized that a lot of people are just dealing with their own shit. I mean, it's not that they're not thinking about you, it's just that they're dealing with their own shit. Because even when I was going through my own shit, like, I would always think of my family and friends, but I might not have been reaching out to them, but like, I was thinking about them all the time. So even now, where I'm not going through anything, I still think about them, but I don't always reach out like I should. And I think that's something that I definitely have to work on. And a big part of it is just recognizing that you have to work on it. Family wise, I feel like I don't have any issue with any family member. If they have an issue with me, then that's their problem. But I personally don't have an issue with anyone. I feel like me and my mother, we always had a rocky relationship growing up. It was very, very rocky, but like, I feel like over the years, as I've gotten older and I've understood her better, and just I think also with, you know, me understanding that she's a very emotional type person, and I'm kind of not, I just kind of had to learn to be more understanding and try to be more like sensitive to her feelings. And I think for her, she just had to understand me as well. And so I think that has caused us to have a much better relationship. We can talk now about certain things that I would never talk to her about before. So I'm very thankful that we actually are in such a good position, because when you're getting to 25 and stuff, and you know, my mother is like almost 60, so it's like they're getting older and older. It's like you have to try to have that good relationship, especially if it's people you care about, you know what I'm saying? Now, as far as my father, or I like to call him my sperm donor, me and him don't have a relationship, and I don't even know that he recognized that or that he cares. So one of the things I had learned in my therapy session, when I talked about family, and one of the things I talked about was like my father, is that you can forgive people, but it doesn't mean that you have to let them become a part of your life if they're no good for your life. And for me, it's just like, my father has never been there, he's never been a father, so I don't feel like he deserved like a father type title or father type treatment, because he's never been that. I don't feel like I need to try to build any kind of relationship with him. There was a period of time from like my early teens, I was like 13, 14, to when I was like 22, I actually never spoke to him. I don't know why that was never an issue for him. But the first time I spoke back to him was my first time back in Jamaica, and I was 22. So prior to that, I never spoke to him. He never done nothing for me. Let me put it this way, I find him insignificant to my life. But and at one point I was really angry at him too. So once I went to my therapy session though, I stopped being angry about it, because I'm just like, some people are just trash, and you know, it doesn't mean that you need to be angry with them for being trash, because you letting your anger out on them is just giving them a lot of power. And so for me, forgiving him was more so about me letting go of my anger versus like me caring about whatever he got going on, type of thing. So, you know, one of the things with family is you have to learn who you want to make the efforts with and who don't even deserve your type of effort. He was never there financially, mentally, emotionally, none of that. Like, he was never there. Like, my father figure was his brother, which is like my uncle. And honestly, there was a point in life in my teenage years where if he wasn't there for me, I honestly don't know where I would have ended up. So that's really who my father figure has been. And I think in life, whether you have parents that are there for you or not, you do need a mother and a father, even if they're not your biological parents. That's one of the things I think that every person needs. And I feel like a lot of the people who lack those are the ones who end up with a lot of mental issues, emotional issues. And some of those things are what you think about as you get older. Like, as I've gotten older, I'm like, do I want to make the effort to have a relationship with this man? And just like, I'm not gonna make the effort. If he wants to make an effort, I'm open to it. I don't have an issue with him, but like, I'm not going to make any type of effort because I could honestly care less. Like, and it sounds bad, but I could care less because I don't look at him as my father. So some people might look at that as being harsh, but it's just the reality of how I am. Now, as far as friendship goes, over the years, I've definitely had to let go of people who I felt were no good for my development. But I can say right now I have really good friends that I care a lot about. All of my friends are very different in their own way. And as you get older, you start analyzing your social circle and you start realizing that, you know, everybody's at different phases in life. Like, some people, even though we're all of similar age, you have some people who are doing very well with life, with their career, with their relationships, whatever. And then you have a lot of people who aren't doing so well, or some people who are just probably somewhere in the middle. And it's just like, as you get older, you just have to learn how to navigate those different things within your friendships, because, you know, you might be doing good in one area of your life and your friend might not, but they might be doing good in another area of their life and you might not. So you have to just learn to juggle those different things and just learning how to understand that you guys might be at different phases of life. I'm one of the type of people, though, part of why I probably don't travel as much as I will in the future is because I want to be able to travel with my friends. And if they're not able to travel right now because of whatever it is or whatever phase of their life that they're in, then I'm willing to wait. Like, I'm that type of friend that I'm willing to wait. I don't really want to go out on trips with people that I absolutely don't know. Like, I'm not that girl. Like, and that's okay for some people, but I'm the type of person, I want to enjoy like the good moments in my life with people that I feel like I'm gonna have in my life, like for the rest of my life. So, you know, if I have to wait until I'm able to pay for them to tag along on my trip, or until, like, you know, we're all at a level where we're all able to just put our own money and all go, then I'm willing to wait. And some people find that to be strange, like, oh, don't wait on your friend. I'm like, if you're truly a friend, then you will wait, because why go on trips with strangers that you don't know versus going on trips with people that, you know, you want to make last long memories with, let me put it that way. So friendship wise, I feel like I've kept the people who I've needed to keep. There's people I've had to like separate myself from, but I still care about them and will probably be cool again one day. But it's just like I had to separate myself from them because they just had a lot of negative energy going on. And then there's people that I completely had to cut off because them motherfuckers needed to go, okay? Let me just put it that way. So those are the different things that you really think about once you hit 25. You think about your social circle, your family the people in your family that you can talk to, that you can go to, the people that matter, the people that you want to build stronger relationships with, the people that you don't care to build a relationship with. I've thought about all those things, and I think that really helps you as you grow and get older. You can decipher between who you want to be close with and who you don't care to have close relationships with. And it's okay to not want to or not care to have close relationships with certain people, regardless if they're your family or not. Like, if they're no good for your development, friends or families or otherwise, then you need to recognize that, and you need to like make some decisions. Because the one thing about life and as you grow is that having the wrong people in your life can really set you back. There's people in your life who mean you no well. They don't want you to do great. Like, they'll know that there's good opportunities for you, but they won't want you to take those good opportunities. Like, they'll deter you from taking good opportunities. You have to know how to use discernment and make sure that whoever you choose to have in your life have your best interests at heart. So the last topic that I want to hit on is probably one of the most important, and that's love and relationship. Once you hit 25, you really start thinking more about dating and, you know, long-term relationships and marriage and having kids and building a life together and stuff like that. Like, you really start thinking about those things a little bit more seriously, at least for me. For me, it's just been like, I know I want a lot of kids. I want 5 kids or more. And so I know that at some point I'm gonna have to start, because once I hit 25, I started feeling my biological clock going tick tock, tick tock. So I really started thinking, you know, I don't know when that's gonna happen, because I'm not in a serious relationship right now, and I don't have any potentials that I see being in a serious relationship with. So I figured I really want to start having kids around 29, 30 years old. That would give me about 10 years to pop out 5 babies, you feel me? But if you're not in a serious relationship and there's no marriage potential coming up, then it's just kind of like, okay, at what point are you gonna start? I'm definitely not gonna rush anything, and I'm definitely not gonna go having babies for people just to have babies. Like, hell no, because then people can fuck up your life, okay? Now, for me though, what I have thought about deeply is that if, let's say, I don't find the right person by the time I'm 32, then I've already made a decision that I'm going to adopt. And you're probably like, well, why adopt? Why not just have a sperm donor or whatever? Because I have a sperm donor. So I would never want to purposefully bring a child into the world without a father. However, there are a lot of kids out there that do need parents, you know, because their parents put them up for adoption. And I feel as though I can actually be a great mother, a great parent, and so I have no problem adopting. And maybe that's the plan that God has for me, you know, to be a blessing in a child's life. So I have actually sat down and really thought about it and made a decision that that's what I'm going to do if I don't find the right person by that time. Versus being like some people who they don't find the right person, so they just go have babies for anybody. And I'm not about that life. These motherfuckers are crazy. They're not about to put a baby in me. I've literally had dude tell me like he doesn't understand why nobody trapped me yet. I was like, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean nobody trapped me? He goes, oh, because if he gets the opportunity, he's putting a baby in me. I was like, putting a baby in who? Putting a baby in who? Ain't nobody putting a baby in this unless I want to have a baby in me, or unless by force. Otherwise, ain't no baby going in me. I'm not some of these chicks out here who, you know, let the guys sweet talk them into putting the baby in them. Like, you're not about to sweet talk me. I'm not that easy to sweet talk. Like, you're not about to put no baby in me if I don't want to have a baby in me. It's not about to go down like that. You're not about to trap me. You know, a lot of times when you have a lot going for yourself and some men see that, like, they will literally try to trap you versus like even trying to marry you, like, which makes no sense, because it's like some dudes be afraid of marriage, but it's just like kids are really the commitment, because once you have a child with a person, you're literally stuck with that person for life. Whether you guys are together or not, you're literally stuck with them. And that's part of why I don't date men with kids, because it's just like, if you have a child with somebody, unless that person has passed away or something, you're literally gonna always have that person in your life. And a lot of these dudes be out here having sex with their baby mothers and stuff like that. I don't have time for that. So you know, it's very important that us as women too, it's not just men that have to, you know, worry about getting trapped. Us women have to worry about getting trapped too, because it's literally dudes out here that purposely try to trap us. Like, not about to get me that way. No way, Jose. I'm not even gonna give you the opportunity to trap me when you start talking dumb shit like that. Like, you're not even getting the opportunity. It's not going down like that. For me, I find that it's definitely gonna be very difficult to find the right person for me, because I've always been very independent, and just from, you know, some of the stuff I've talked about in this video, I've not had a man take care of me pretty much my whole life. So I'm used to doing things on my own. I'm used to taking care of myself. You know, oftentimes as I've gotten older, I think there's literally nothing else that a man can really do for me that I can't do for myself. And so I think that also deters me a lot. Like, I'm the type of person, I'm not gonna put up with certain shit that a lot of women put up with, because I don't have to. I don't need your money. I don't need you to pay my bills. I don't need you to do anything really, because I can afford it myself. So it's just like, a lot of women out there I've seen that sometimes stay in some of these relationships have put up with abuse and cheating and disrespect and, you know, all this bullshit. And it's just shit that I feel like I don't have to deal with. And so I'm not going to deal with it. And in this day and age where we live in such a hookup culture, it's just like, most men aren't gonna be bothered with like someone like me who's not putting up with their shit, because they know for every person like me that won't put up with their shit, there's 10 other women that will. Simply because oftentimes they're desperate, and so they'll put up with stuff that, you know, they have no business putting up with. Me, I'm the type of person, I'm just not gonna put up with certain things. So I feel like it's especially difficult in this day and age. And I'm not saying every man is like that, of course not, but a lot of them are. And then of the ones who aren't like that, they're very limited. And then it's also, I have to filter out the ones with baby mothers. I have to filter out the ones who I'm not attracted to. I have to filter out the ones who I have no chemistry with. I have to filter out the ones who actually don't want kids. Not to mention, I have to filter out the ones who are separated, because especially out here in LA, a lot of these dudes be separated. So instead of being divorced, they're separated. And I have to filter those out too. So it's just like so much filtering out. It's just like, it leaves me with not many options. So it's just like, it's very difficult out here. I'm not even gonna lie to you. It's difficult trying to find a man who aligns with you, that you're attracted to, that you have chemistry with, that aligns with your goals. Like, it's very difficult. And it's just like, one of the things for me is I've had to learn to be more open to dating and stuff like that, because I've been single pretty much my whole adult life. And I mean, it might sound bad, but it's not as bad as it sounds. So I've been an adult for 8 years. I'll say only 2 of the years count, because now the first 4 years of me being an adult, I was in college. And I did get into a situationship at one point, you know, in my younger college days. and you know, it just didn't work out. That was probably one of the 2 people that I ever felt like I had the right chemistry with, as far as like who I dated. And then after that, throughout college, I've dated other people. The other person that I felt like I have chemistry with was like back in high school. You know, throughout my college career, after my little situationship went left, I had dated throughout college. I never found the right chemistry, so I never felt the need to get into a relationship with anybody. Because sometimes people be jumping into relationship with people just to say they're in a relationship, not because they actually truly connect with that person. And I'm the opposite of that. I'm not getting into a relationship with you just to say we're in a relationship. Like, we literally have to have that right connection. I have to see, I have to feel the sense that we can probably make this work long term. So I'm not one of those people that just jump into relationship. Now, after college, the first 2 years out, remember that I told you in part 1 that I was struggling, so I was getting my life together, so I was not in the place to be dating anybody. And that's the other thing, a lot of people date when they're not in the place to be dating. They're not in a stable position, and I'm just one of those persons where I'm honest with myself, and I feel like if I'm not in a position to be dating and stuff like that, then I'm not going to. So I was in a position where I was figuring out my own life. I was self-reflecting on my life. I was figuring myself out. So I had no business dating. So that brings me to year 25, when once I came out here, that's when I really started trying to seriously date again and stuff like that. And so far, let me just say, I don't really think my husband might be in LA, to be honest, because these motherfuckers always be separated. I mean, on one hand, it's kind of good that I attract men that be into marriage and shit, because of course I want that. But like, on the other hand, why you mofos don't get a divorce? Like, why you always gotta be separated? And then for me, it's just like, I don't even know if I want to date a divorcee, because I don't know, that's just a red flag in itself. Anyways, these mofos always be separated, and I don't date married men. Separated or not separated, I don't date married men. So that's been my thing out here. So it's just like, it's not like I've been single because I've been necessarily making bad choices in men or anything like that. It's just really about not finding the right chemistry, not finding the right connection, and then all these motherfuckers being separated. So it's just like, that's just really what it's been for me. I have typically a similar type in men. Like, you have to be ambitious, I have to be attracted, and then the next thing is chemistry. But sometimes you go out on a date with a guy and then you just don't have the chemistry there. And I've definitely had that, where I went out with guys where I might have been attracted initially, but I go out on a date with them and I'm just like, yeah, this doesn't work. So it's just like, even though some people might look at me being single for so long as, oh my god, why is she single for so long? It's just because most of it was just me not really wanting or being ready for a relationship. And then over the past 2 years, it's just me not finding the right person for me. That's really what it's been. And once you get older and hit that age 25, like for me, it's just really been about dating with a purpose. So it's like, I don't even go out on as many dates and as people might think that I do, simply because I'm not gonna go out with you if I'm not interested in you to begin with. And a lot of women will go out with guys for a free meal and stuff like that. I personally don't need a free meal, so it's just like, if I'm going out with you, it's because I actually have an interest in you. And then once I go out with you, I can determine from there if I like it enough to go out on a second date. And oftentimes I don't like it enough to go out on a second date, so I just carry on with my day. And with me, sort of like focused on my career, and also you know, meeting my financial goals and stuff like that. I don't have a lot of time to just be wasting time with guys and just, you know, going out on second date with guys that I have no interest in after the first date. So that's typically what happens for me. And it's crazy because a lot of people typically have more issue with me being single than me having an issue with being single, because I've never thought of being single as being a bad thing. For me, it's been me just knowing what I want, because oftentimes people hop into relationship with people not even knowing what they want. They don't know themselves. And I feel like I understand myself very well, and I understand what I'm looking for out of a partnership very well. So it's just like, if you're not bringing that to me, then I'm just not gonna even waste my time. And also, I feel like this day and age, we live in such a hookup culture, and you know, for me, it's gonna take a lot of effort for you to really get me to get on board with even wanting to be in a relationship with you, because I'm used to doing things on my own. I'm used to doing my own thing. So it'll take a lot for me to say, okay, now I'm ready to, you know, possibly merge our lives together in the future. Like, you know, like, so for me, it'll take a lot of effort on a man's part to show me why he deserves to be a part of my growth, a part of my makeup. Like, one of the things as I've gotten older that I realize is a lot of these dudes out here are liabilities. They come with a lot of baggage and a lot of downside to them. So it's not like I'm expecting anybody to be perfect. You don't have to have six-figure salary. You don't have to have, you know, everything planned out. You don't have to have a big house or nothing like that. Like, for me, it's just my expectations are, you know, respect, honesty, faithfulness, loyalty, and, you know, your ambition and you doing your part. You know, I don't require necessarily a lot, but this day and age, we live in such a hookup culture where it's so easy to just go on the internet and go find somebody. You know, when you come across someone like me who requires work and requires effort, there's a lot of men who rather not deal with that, and it's okay. You don't have to be wanting to deal with that. I'm not the type of person that's gonna, you know, push anyone into anything that they don't want. But that's just pretty much been why I have been single. And part of becoming older and thinking about, you know, love and relationships is that you have to not only think about the stuff you want out of a man, but also think of some of the things that you need. And the only way that you're gonna know what you need is by looking at your upsides and your downsides. And for me, like, I know I have a lot of upsides, right? There's a lot of good things about me. I have good things going for myself. I'm very selfless, very caring. I sometimes put others' needs ahead of my own. And so one of the things I've had to recognize about myself is that people will definitely try to take advantage of that. So I've had to learn to just make sure that I don't let people in too soon, which is why I'm not about to just jump into relationships. Like, I have to know that I can trust you and trust you with my heart, type of thing, you know, before I'm gonna go and say I'm gonna get into a relationship with you. Otherwise, I'll date you, and if I see that you're not that person, then I'll move on. Like, I'm quick to move on. And then you also have to look at your downsides, which for me is that the fact that I love my independence. So it's like a man has to be patient about that and understand that. And it's not really that I am not open to, you know, letting the man take the lead or anything like that. It's just really about him being patient and showing me that he can lead me down the right path, because I'm not gonna have you leading me to the fucking struggle. I've been there, done that. I ain't going back. So I require a lot of patience. I require effort. And you know, I know for me, like, I can be very stubborn at times, but one of the things I've learned and worked on with myself is just making sure that not being stubborn about things that I don't need to be stubborn about. And that's one of the things I've learned to do over the years, and I've recognized that's a flaw in me, and I've had to work on those things. So like part of growing and developing is like learning about your flaws and learning how to, let me put it this way, you might not be able to fully get rid of whatever flaw you have. What you can do is learn ways to mitigate the downsides of your flaws, and learn ways to better do things so that your flaws don't become your downfall. And I feel like for me, I'm mature enough to recognize those things, but not everyone's mature enough to recognize those things. A lot of people have flaws and they're just like, oh, that's just how I am, I don't care. I'm the type of person, if that's how you are, then you're not for me. Because it's like, if it's a flaw in your personality trait in whatever, and you're not willing to make adjustments so that you can come across better to people, then you're not the right person for me. Because that's a very selfish way to go about things, and I don't want a selfish person. Because like I said, I'm very selfless, so I definitely need someone that's also going to be selfless towards me. Otherwise, we're not gonna work. As you're thinking about your future and thinking about a partner and thinking about the person for you, you have to think about those things. And I feel like oftentimes a lot of people don't, which is why they end up in relationships where they're not happy, in relationships where it ends up in a divorce or something like that. And for me, it's just like, I don't want those things, so I rather be honest from the jump. And the other big thing is honesty. Like, I'm very blunt and honest, and it's just like, either you like it or you don't. And I think what a lot of men, I've noticed, are used to is that they're used to women being a certain way in the beginning, and then they switch up on them towards the end of when shit hit the fan. But for me, it's just like, I'm gonna be honest and blunt with you from the jump. And it's like, if you don't like it, that's fine. We just don't mesh well, and I can just move on. Versus, I'm not gonna be fake and then turn into a different person, because that's just me wasting my time, and I don't have time to waste. So, you know, those are just things I think about. I also, you know, I set certain standards. Like, I know for me, like, if I, you know, go from dating a person and then we get into a relationship, I'm giving you the maximum of 2 years before you propose. And I know some of you guys are watching this video and you're all like, oh, but you can't put a time limit on a proposal. Think about it this way. If I'm dating you, I'm probably dating you for 2, 3, 4, even 5 months before I even get into a relationship with you. That's number one. I've already gotten to know you well enough to where I know that there's a possibility that we can work in a relationship and in a marriage. Now, if let's say we do get into that relationship, it's really just more about expanding on that, you know, expanding on our chemistry, making sure that we have the right sexual chemistry. And I know that's crazy coming from someone that's celibate, but that's a big deal to me too. So just making sure that we have those things on lock. And for me, it'll only take a year to know whether or not you're marriage material. And so if a man cannot recognize that I'm marriage material for him within 2 years, there's a disconnect there, and we're just probably not for each other. Because I'm not gonna waste my time. Like I said, I would like to start having kids at a certain point, and I'm not gonna waste my time with somebody that is just trying to prolong the process. Like, I don't got time for that shit. Like, I'm too old for that shit. That's just how I feel about it. And some people might feel otherwise, which is okay. Some people are okay being in relationships for 10 years and 20 years with no marriage, which is fine. That's for you. That is not for me. So I don't have to go by those standards. I go by my standards. And I feel like the man for me will have similar standards. I just feel that way. So that's just how I feel about certain things. And I just feel like as you grow older and you get more mature, you really think about those things, and think about, you know, where you want to be and who you want to be with, the type of person you want to be with, and the type of person you want to be, the type of marriage you want to be in, the type of family you want, the type of legacy you want to leave. Like, those are the things like I really started thinking about more deeply as I became 25 and got older. So that's it for this video, you guys. I hope it was helpful for you. I want to thank you guys once more for watching, and I will see you in my next video.